Hello everyone and welcome to another video. So today we will see the most basic functions and formulas in Excel, and these are some of the functions and formulas that we should be using on a daily basis whenever we are working with Excel for any calculations, report preparation and data analysis. So let's get started. So what we have here is, what I have done is divided the formulas into 4 different sections. The first one is arithmetic, followed by statistical, text, and logical. All right. So please note one thing, that there are plenty of formulas and functions in Excel. We are not covering all of them. We are just covering the most basic ones that you would be using on a daily basis whenever you are working with Excel. I have excluded VLOOKUP from this and pivot tables from this just because it's more of an advanced topic which we will cover in detail in our upcoming videos. Let me help you with what all these functions or formulas mean. So let's start with add. In order to add two numbers, or in order to add any number of numbers, what you can do is you can use the plus operator. We call this as an operator. So you can use the plus symbol. Let me show you how. So let's say I have two numbers, 22 and 33, just taking random numbers, 22 and 33. So what I can do is, to start a formula, I can just put equal to sign, okay, and I can say 22 plus 33. This is one way. And when you press enter on your keyboard, it will give you the result. And you can see the formula here in the formula bar, okay. Now this is one way to do it. Now instead of entering the actual number one by one, since you already have numbers entered in one of these cells, what you can do is go back, put equal to sign, and just select the cell in which the value is there. So in this case, I'm going to select cell C2, and now you can see it appearing here as C2, and I'll include the plus symbol and then D2. So now instead of entering the actual values, we are entering the cell number, which will pick up the value from the cell and put it in the result column wherever you want to see your result. Now press enter on your keyboard and the result is the same. Similarly, subtract. So I'm taking the same set of numbers, 22 and 33 in this case. I want to subtract 22 from 33. So what I'll do is put equal to 33 minus 22. So that will give me 11. Now I don't want to do it this way, obviously. So what I'll do is equal to sign 33, that is D3, minus cell which has 22, that is C3. All you have to do is just use your mouse to click on it and select. Press enter and you have the result. And again, multiply is very straightforward. I'll use a smaller number for ease of explanation. Let me use 5 and let me use 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply 5 and 4. So similarly, you can do select the cell, use the asterisk button, asterisk button on your keyboard, the star button, and then the second character. Press enter and your result is 20. 5 into 4 is 20. Divide, let's say 10 and 2. So I want to divide 10 by 2. So that will be 10, that is C5. We will use the forward slash character, slash 2, and press enter. So your result is 5. Now one thing to note is division. Whenever you are dividing two numbers, if you are dividing any number by 0, so I've typed in 0 and let me press enter. So you can see there is an error message, that is division by 0. Okay, so you can see more details of the error if you click on this warning button that appears right next to it. So it says divide by 0 error. Now when you know that a number cannot be divided by 0 because the result will be infinity, so we don't do that. So whenever such thing happens, an error like this will appear on your Excel screen. So let's go back to just use 2 here. That will display the actual result. Now sum. Sum, again, you have already used add using the plus operator, but sum is a formula that is, way more convenient than using the plus symbol every single time. So in this case, for example, let's say, again, let's take 22 and 33. So now in order to use sum, all you have to do is put equal to, use the sum formula. Just type in SUM, and there you can see multiple options of sum appearing. Use the first one, which is adds all the numbers in a range of cells. So we'll use sum. You can either double click on this auto populate option that appears, auto suggestion, or what you can do is on your keyboard, press the tab button. Press the tab button and it will automatically change it to uppercase and start a bracket for you, inside which you will place the numbers or the range. Okay. So in this case, I want to calculate the sum of 22 and 33. What I can do is I'll select 22 and it says I have to put a comma here. I'll put a comma and then it asks for number 2. So you can see it getting bold, right? And number 2 written in bold. So that means now you have to enter number 2. So select this cell, that is D6. And if you want, you can close the bracket. If you don't want to close the bracket, just press enter and you see the result is 55. So both the results would be 55 here in this case, even if you use the sum formula or use the plus operator. Okay. Now there is another way to calculate sum here. So let's say sum, I press tab, and now instead of selecting C6 and D6 one by one, you can select a range of values. So in this case, I'm going to select C6 to D6. Okay, now you can see a colon appearing between C6 and D6. That means it is a range. And just press enter, the result is the same. Similarly, you can do it for a larger range. Let's say you want to, calculate the sum of all of this, that is C2 to E5. Press enter and this is the result. I hope that was clear. Let's dive into the statistical formulas that are available here. Okay. In order to count, so what count does is count actually gives you the number of occurrences of the cells which have numbers in them. For example, let me show you. You just have to put equal to and type in count. So you can see just as you type COU, you can see all the count functions or all the formulas that start with COU appearing here. So we just need count. So I'm just going to say COU, and if I press tab, it will automatically take the very first option. And it says it needs values. So in this case, we can actually select a range. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of these numbers above, that is C2 to E6, okay, with my mouse, and press enter. You can see there are 15 results because there are 5 rows and 3 columns. Okay, just for the ease of it, let me just say count of this particular row, C, D and E columns. Okay, and it gives me 3 because we have selected 22, 33 and 55. Okay, now as I said, count only gives you the occurrences, number of occurrences of cells which have numbers in them. For example, if we change this 22 to, let's say, a text, that is, let's say Kevin. All right. Now see, the count has changed to 1. 1 because in this series, that is C2 to E2, okay, C2 to E2, we only have one number, which is 33. And one of them is a text, which is Kevin, and the other one is an error message. The error message is because we were trying to add C2 and D2. Now C2 has become a text, so you can't add a text and a number together using a plus symbol. Okay, that's why you see an error. So we only have one number, and that is why the count is 1. So let me just change it to 2, and now you can see it's showing 3 because all 3 are numbers. Now again, let's say you were to count from C to F. Okay, C2 to F2. I'm also selecting a blank cell here, you can see, and I press enter. Again, this will show 3 because there is nothing in this F2. But what if we enter another number, let's say 99. So now you can see the count changing. But if it is a text, the count remains the same as 3. So this is how the count function works. We will do a detailed video on count very soon, which will explain you multiple type of counts that you can do using Excel. Now the next one is max. Max basically gives you the maximum from a list of numbers. So you just have to use the formula that is max. Press the tab button. And let's say we have this list. And you can see from this list, the maximum number is 22, right? Similarly, minimum, just type min, press tab, and let's say you want to select this particular row, and you can see the minimum number is 22 out of these three. I'm just going to select a different row for you. Okay. Next is the average. So in order to calculate average, let me just take a series of numbers here. So I'm going to say 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Okay, this is my range of numbers. All I have to do is equals average, and I'll select the range G11 to K11, press enter, and you can see the average of this particular series is 30. All right. Now to calculate the median, just type in median. Okay, so it says returns the median or the number in the middle of the set of given numbers. So basically median is, in this particular set, let's say 10 to 50, whatever number falls in the middle is the median. Whenever the series is organized in an ascending order. So you can see this is in ascending order 10 to 50. And if you take 30, you have two numbers to the left and two numbers to the right. So in this case, 30 will be the median. Let's see if that is the case. So I'm typing median and I'll select this range, press enter, and you can see the median is 30. Now, if you change this series somehow, let's say, 1, 20, 55, then 13 and 2. So you can see all the details changing here now. All right. So this is how it is done. Coming to concat. Concat is a very commonly used formula in order to combine multiple strings or, multiple texts and strings together. So I'll show you how. Let's say I have typed in something, say turn to and data. So this is in 3 different cells. All right, turn is in E14, F14 and G14. What I want to do is I want to combine all 3 together. I'm just going to cut this and paste it somewhere else. Yeah. So what I'm going to do using concat is I'm going to combine all 3 of them. Okay, so you can do an equal to, type in concat, it autofills for you, just press tab and you can just select the range. Okay, so let's see if that works. Beautiful, it's working. So it says turn to space data. Now you will be wondering how this space came into picture. That's because if you notice, I'll double click here. After 2, there is a space character available. So if you remove that, you can see it changing. There is no space here. If you want to include spaces when you work with concat, all you have to do is, instead of selecting this as a range, what you can do instead is you can select a cell one by one, put a comma and just put a space character in between. So just like this, I'm going to put a space between each of the occurrences of each cell and press enter. Now you have a space in between. So that's how concatenation works. Another useful formula is the length. So let's say you want to calculate the number of individual characters in a particular string. So in this case, we'll take data. So I'm going to say equals len, that is the formula. Press a tab and I'm going to select data. So we want to find the length of cell K14. I'm going to press enter and you can see the length of cell data is 4 because there are 4 characters. Now if you just add in something, let's say we have changed the string to this, you can see the formula automatically gets updated, and you can also see the concat formula got updated because we changed the source cell. Okay, so all of this happens in real time. All right, Now the next option is trim. Trim basically removes any unwanted white spaces, or you can just call it spaces, from your string. So what you have to do is, I'm going to type in something here. Let me just say, what do I say? I'll say subscribe to turn to data. All right. And let me just put in some additional spaces here. So I'll put in some, 5 or 6 spaces before subscribe, and then after subscribe, probably, after data, and then probably, sorry, before data and after data. So there are few spaces here, few spaces here, and all of them. So you can see the exact, how the spacing is done in the formula bar here. And you can see there are multiple spaces. Okay. So let's see how trim helps us remove these unwanted spaces. All you have to do is just type in trim. Okay. Select, press tab, and just select whichever is the cell. So in this case, the text is in cell H16. I'm going to close the bracket. If you don't have to close the bracket every time, but it is just a practice. Press on enter, and you can see all the white spaces, all the additional spaces, whatever was there is now gone, and you can see the text in a much better manner. So trim usually comes in very handy when you're working with data cleaning and formatting your data before you begin any analysis. All right, we come to the last part of our video today, that is the logical section. The if logical formula is very important and is used in multiple scenarios and in different forms. If is the most basic version of it. So let's see how that is done. So let's say we have a data point, or we have a cell where something is written. For example, let's say apples for this case, right? So we have apples in, let me just highlight this. Yeah, we have apples in cell F18. Okay. So if is basically a conditional formula. That is, if something exists somewhere, or if something is true or false, return something. If that is not true or not false, return something else. For example, just type in if, press tab, and the first option is your logical text. So logical test is basically what is the condition that you want to put here. So the condition that you want to put here is logical test is, I'll select this cell, that is F18, equals, I'm going to say apples. Okay, so this is my logical text, that is one condition I have put, comma. What is the next option? Value if true. So if F18 equals apples, what do I want to print here, or what do I want to show here? I want to say good job. Okay, that's what I want to say. And I'll put another comma, and you can say value if false. What if F18 is not equal to apple? That is what it is asking here. So if it is not equal to apples, what do I want to print? I'll say, let's say I'm frustrated, I'll say ugh. Okay, and press on enter. Now you can see good job appears here. That's because F18 equals apples is the condition which is satisfied. Now if this somehow changes to, let's say, instead of apples changes to oranges, or any text for that matter, right? Even if it changes to apples with a triple S, it will print whatever condition you put in as a exception or in the else column. Okay, that's how if works. And the last one is not basically gives you a false if something is true and true if something is false. So for example, let me just do this. Let me just take two numbers, 10 and 99, let's say. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use not. All right, and inside not I'm going to put a logical condition. That is, I'm gonna say 10, that is H19, is greater than I19, that is 99. Okay, so what it means is H19 greater than, so Excel first evaluates the condition which is inside the bracket, that is H19 greater than I19. So is 10 greater than 99? No, it is false. So what it will do is, it will calculate a NOT of the false condition. So NOT of false. What is NOT of false? NOT of false is true. So if you press enter now, you can see true appears here. So this is how the NOT function works. I hope this video was helpful in understanding the most basic functions and formulas that we use in Excel. What we will do in our next video is, and sort of focus on more of these, and we will first start with the count in our upcoming video. So hope you liked the video. If you enjoyed the video, please press the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please go ahead and click on the subscribe button. And if there are any comments, please post it on the comments tab. Thank you, and see you with another video next week.